In that second piece, debt management. It's important in debt management to write down all your obligations. If you're buying a home, write down the mortgage balance. Write down the mortgage payment. Write down the interest rate. Break down the payment. How much is going to principal? How much is going to interest? How much is going to private mortgage insurance? Know exactly what you're paying on your mortgage. Write down the car payment. Write down the balance on the car. Write down the interest rate on the car. Write down the Visa card. Write down the MasterCard. Write down the JCPenney. Write down all the obligations. The name of it, the balance on it, and the monthly payment. Because many times what happens in the body of Christ, we have things going out of our home and don't really know what's going out. So we go to a nice place, go to buy another car, to buy another pair of shoes, or to buy anything. Not really know what's already going out. And that brings unnecessary additional pressure, and pressure busts an iron pipe. That financial pressure is the worst kind of pressure. Folks wonder sometimes, why is relationship so strained? Is it because primarily of infidelity? Believe it or not, that's not the primary reason. It's financial. And both of those are bad things. So anytime it's rough financially in the home, communication breakdown, the immune system is affected. Getting headaches they normally would not get, stomach aches they normally would not get, because financial pressure is the worst kind of pressure. I want you to think about also the snowball effect. Dave Ramsey talks about this in this program. That stacking. Where when one bill is paid out, don't come down and start shouting, saying, hallelujah, Lord done made a way for me to get me another car. No, that's the wrong shout. He made a way to take that $500 a month that I was paying out on the car payment, add that to the student loan, add that to the Visa card, add that to that payday loan, and accelerate the process of debt elimination. The objective is to get out of debt. The goal is to be free, not to be bound, but freedom ain't free. It takes some discipline to get that done, and that's important. Now, the next one is expense management. Expense management. And there are 5 departments we have to always be thinking about in the area of expense management. This is the budget, ladies and gentlemen. Number 1 is housing. What do I really spend in that department of housing? And what's included in the department of housing? Rent, home phone, mobile phone, cable, power bill, water bill, lawn care, alarm systems. And what hurts a lot of families, whether they're making a lot of income or not making a lot of income, everybody in the house got a cell phone. I mean, the little bitty kids, 4 years old, 3 years old, got a cell phone. Ain't working nowhere. Ain't got to be nowhere on time. And they got a cell phone. And it hurts when you got a family that is already tight in the home and they spending $500 a month on cell phones. All I'm saying is this, ladies and gentlemen, we have got to be willing, sit down with our wife and husbands, or if you're a single parent, like I came in a single parent home, sit down and think. Just sit down and think. And some folks say, I just can't do it. I just can't do it. I can't cut that cell phone out. Let me tell you something. If all of a sudden you lose a job, that department cuts your department out, you'll be surprised how creative you'll be in cutting expenses. What I'm saying this morning is do it before you have to do it. Become bulletproof at some point. You want it to be airtight and bulletproof. You want to have some money left over at the end of the month, church. You don't want to spend up to the limit. It just has too many consequences to do that. The next one is the family department. That's food and clothing and medical and laundry and child care and grooming and education and animal care. And what do we spend a whole lot of money in that family department is in clothing and shoes. Clothes and shoes and grooming. One of my single parents I talked to a while back, a single parent, spent $600 on a hairdo. 600. She had to go buy the hair, right? She bought the hair, and she says, this is human hair. I reckon it is human hair for $600. How long is that human hair gonna last? And after a period of time, had to take it out and redo it again. $600. Single mother with 3 kids. We can't keep doing these kind of things and survive. Clothing and shoes. This is a real concern right here, clothing and shoes. And I see folks, they got to go to town every weekend. Where you going? I'm going to the store. I'm going to town. And these shoes, they call them red bottom. Find these red bottom shoes. I mean, who looking up under your feet? Y'all hear what I'm saying? They're buying pocketbooks. What's these real expensive pocketbooks now? What do you call them? What do you call them? Michael Kors, Dooney and Bird. And the pocketbook costs more than they have in the pocketbook. Y'all hear what I'm saying? We've got to change some habits is what we're saying. This is a fundamental class today. Look at this like a Sunday school class. It's fundamentals. The third one is giving. Giving is tithing and offering, family giving, birthdays, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Christmas, and graduation. Now, what do we spend a lot of money every year? Christmas, graduations, birthdays. Not a whole lot in giving. Let me say that again. Christmas, birthdays, graduations, not a whole lot in giving. In church, I'm not trying to, I don't play money games. Listen, it's a law. It's a biblical law. It's a law that, like the law of gravity, whatever goes up, gonna do what? If you give, it's gonna come back to you. You can't see it. But if you give, my wife and I have been married now for 38 years. In those 38 years we've been married together, after we've seen some lean times, and we've seen, thank God, in later years, some good times. My wife has not worked a job since 1999. She doesn't work anywhere, and frankly, I don't want her to get a job, okay? Because she does so much for us at home. She runs that corporation called home. But a lot of that came from, we understood the principle of giving. I can't explain how that works. It's so amazing. It's almost like this is not mystical or magical. It's spiritual. And you won't understand until you start doing it. I don't have time to spend a lot of time on that, but I'm telling you right now, just believe me when I say, He'll give it back to you. Transportation, gas in the car, oil changes. Here's another real concern in the body of Christ. They can't afford the car. I can't afford it, so I'm going to lease one. Go lease a BMW, Mercedes, an Acura, something real nice, because they could not afford the payment. Church, if I can communicate anything this morning, let me communicate. Don't try to impress everybody. The newness is going to wear off pretty soon. Keep it moving. The last one is leisure, vacations and hobbies and club memberships, eating out, entertainment, books, and subscription. And what hurts a lot of folks right now in the church is eating out. I was on a meeting with a bunch of school teachers some time ago during a faculty meeting, just talking to all the teachers. We talk about eating out. $5 for a cup of coffee. Not no latte, just a black cup of coffee and nothing plain. 10 for a sandwich and a drink. 15 for a nice California salad. That's $30 a day. Every day, that's $900 a month. Two people, that's $1,800. Just going in the belly. And sometime I was talking to a single mom. She said, Mr. Pierce, I want to buy a home. I want to get me a home. Let's sit down and do an analysis. Found out she was spending $1,400 a month eating out. That's the house payment. We can do a lot of things if we're willing to sit down together and look it over. The next one is asset management. I want you to take the time, church, and write down your retirement balance. What's in your retirement account right now? It's going to really make you think. Number 2, write down what you're putting in to your retirement account every single month right now. There's a 401k, 403b, TSP, 457, RSA1, Roth IRA, traditional IRA, any kind of tax sheltered account that you have right now. Write down what's in there right now. What are you adding to it every single month? And then think about, I want to retire by this time in my life. Now, if you want to retire in 5 years or 10 years or 15 years or 20 years or 30 years, whatever that time frame is, what you have saved right now, what you're adding to it every month is not matching up to your time frame to retire. You got to make some adjustments. Not because I said, because time says it. And time is marching on. It is intoxicated with obedience. It does not stop. It does not pause. It does not deliberate. It don't wait. It marches on. We're getting older. And it's important to plan for that now. Also, you want to write down what you have in your checking and savings account right now. And this is not to make anybody feel bad. I promise you it's not. It is to get us to think about where we are right now financially. Because we don't want to continue, if we're right now, paycheck to paycheck. Is that right? We don't want to keep living like that, do we? If that's the case, you got to be brutally honest. I mean brutally honest. What do I have right now? My checking account and my savings account. Is it a negative? And if it is, listen, it is what it is. Don't feel bad. Let's just make some change. That's all. We've all been there at some point. If that's the way it is, don't feel bad. It is what it is. Let's go from there. Write down also what you have in the house. It's this petty cash. Some folks keep a lot of money in the home. 1,000, 2, 3, 4, 5,000. Some have 10 to 15,000 in the house. And it's important also to make sure, if you're married, that your spouse knows everything. My wife and I just got back from a business retreat down in Destin, and we stayed in a really nice place down there. So during the business retreat, I said, honey, let's sit down now. Let's look at all that we have. So I showed her our brokerage account, all of them, and let us see what we have. I said, honey, now here's where we are right now. But I can't have any secrets with my wife. Did y'all hear what I just said? Only y'all got kind of quiet right there now. I can't have any secrets with my wife. This is who I'm spending the rest of my life with. I've seen some sad cases, Pastor. I've seen a case, I can't really give any details, but there was a case where one of the spouse died. And they had an account at one of the major institutions. And I was sitting down going over the affairs, and the wife could not even get access to the money because her name was not on the account. Not even as a paid on death, a POD. Because he's from that old school, good boy, don't tell that girl everything now. Don't tell her. Don't tell that girl everything. And what happens, that affects us in a pretty big time way. And the family suffers. Don't be a secret and married. Okay. The next one is income management. Income management. I want you to write down your gross income. Before anything comes out, look at that figure. What is that figure? What is that gross income before anything comes out of your paycheck? Then I want you to write down your net income. What you're working with, what comes into your hand every single month. What is that net income? Put that on paper. Then I want you to write down all your paycheck deductions. FICA, federal, state, local, retirement, health insurance, long-term care, short-term care. Write down everything, credit union. Write down United Way. Everything, dental and vision. Everything that's coming out of your paycheck that is a deduction, write it down. Because I've seen cases where they have things coming out of their paycheck that they don't even use. They say, Lord have mercy, what is this? I don't know. It's been coming out for about 2 years and don't know what it is, and it's not benefiting them. If it's not benefiting you, go down to the payroll department, HR, and say, listen, let's stop this. I'm no longer using this anymore. I don't need this coming out of my paycheck. I had one case where this one particular client had about $300 per paycheck, $600 a month coming out of that check that they didn't even know about. Because all they looked at was the net income, what they brought home. Church, you got to see for your money because your money can't see. You got to think for your money because your money cannot think. You got to make moves, money moves for your money because your money don't know what to do. The money's going to go where it wants to go, wherever that emotion say, which is controlled by the individual, by the way. That's where the money is going to go. It's going to leave us in a bad place. If we keep doing that, it's going to leave us in a very, very bad place. Now, I'm going to, because I didn't want to hold you real long, about 30 minutes. I think it's enough time to really teach anything on the financial side, unless it's a whole seminar. But I want you to think about, kind of summarize what we just talked about today. We talked about, number one, protection management, right? And making sure you have certain things in place, like life insurance, car insurance, at some point long-term care insurance, and the importance to have proper limits of liability in the area of protection management. We talked about debt management, right? To write everything down on paper. To write down the car note, to write down the house note, Visa card, MasterCard, all the debt, student loans, the name of that debt, balance, payment, and interest rate. That's in the debt management. We talked about expense management, and that's a budget. A budget is sometimes a bad word now, but what a budget does, it makes us look at where we are, and it makes us painfully aware of where we're not. It says you can't spend, Ricky, more than you bring in. And it says don't try to live like the Joneses. Don't try to impress anybody with what you drive, what's on your back, unless you can pay for it almost in cash now. We talked about that expense management. We talked about also asset management. Asset management says you're going to get old one day unless you die young. You got to plan for a place that you're going to be in for the rest of your life. That place is your future. Every minute from now is the future. Every hour from now. Every week, every month, every year from now is the future. And if we don't plan for a place that we're going to be in for the rest of our lives, that time is going to come. We're going to get there and say, Lord, have mercy. I've been working all this time now, and I can't come home. I can't come home. 75 years old. My ankles are hurting. My knees are hurting. My back is hurting. My head is hurting. Everything hurting, but I got to go and catch that mule because I can't come home. And nobody told me about a 401k. Nobody told me about a Roth IRA. Nobody told me to pay myself first And as a result of that, I can't come home. I don't have anything in an emergency fund, and I can't come home. I don't have anything put back when the air conditioning unit goes out, and I got to be in my house fanning all day long because I didn't have an emergency fund. I can't put tires on my car because I didn't have anybody to tell me about maintenance and setting money aside because the car's going to have some tires at some point, and I got to ride on Maypop because nobody told me about planning. Maypop at any time. That's asset management. The next one class is income management. Income management says that what you do for a living is not sufficient. It's all right to do something part-time. If what you do for a living is not sufficient, it's all right to do something part-time. If what you do for a living is not enough to make the ends come together, the ends meet, it's all right. And you have to give yourself permission to do something part-time. And drop the pride. It comes just before a big fall, pride. What are they gonna think about me if I get a part-time job working at Walmart? Pride. What they gonna think of me if I get a part-time job at Dillard's? Pride. What they gonna think about me if I start a detail shop on the side? Pride. What they gonna think about me if I start cutting grass on the side? Pride. And it's broke pride. Broke is Cooter Brown and prideful. Broke is a Hank. That's country boy talking there. And prideful. You got to drop that pride, church. Because it's not going to help you to get to the next level. Pride. Protection management, debt management, expense management, asset management, and income management. If you do these things that we talked about today, I can assure you, in 12 months, you're going to see a difference. Not 12 years, in 12 months. Say, well, take your time for the next 30 days. Just 30 days. Write down every cent that you spend. Track it. Every cent spent and on what expense. Water bill, light bill, gas bill, cable TV, hairdresser, fingernail lady, barbershop, Kroger's and Winn-Dixie, Old Charlie's, Thank God It's Friday, Ruby Tuesdays. Write them all down for 30 days. Then get a yellow highlighter and go through those notes and highlight all the places you spend money on that you did not need to spend it on. You're going to get, in many cases, a revelation. I appreciate your time. I'll turn it back into the hand of Pastor Hoglis.
Ooh, Lord, let's give it up for Minister Ricky L. Pitts. Cut me down just a little, Thomas, just a little. Thomas, take me down just a little. Amen. Let's stand together. Come on. It's time to go home, y'all. It's time to go home. If y'all ain't heard everything I've said in the last 3 weeks, he summed it up in a professional manner. He didn't come to preach. He came to be instructional.